Hello and welcome back to day 11 of our 12 days of crochet, the second last day. So far we have made a 6-spotted ladybug, a blue-banded bee, a snail, the rosy maple moth, a dragonfly, an orchid mantis, a Japanese emperor caterpillar, an acorn weevil, a grasshopper, and yesterday we made a dung beetle, or scarabs if you fancy. So today's clue was that bees aren't the only critters that can make honey. In fact, these guys make better honey apparently. Hopefully you all left your guesses in the comment section for yesterday. Let's see how many of you got it right. Hello baby. Today we are making, can you see him in there? Today we are making a honeypot ant. For those who don't know what a honeypot ant is, I'll put a little thing on the screen here. They are ants with giant pods of honey on their backs. That is apparently extremely delicious. So don't forget to stick around to the end of the video to get a clue as to who we are making for day 12, the last day. Let's get into it. So day 11 is this cute little honeypot ant. And yeah, that butt is made out of honey. So let's talk tools and materials to make a little honeypot ant, also known as just a honey ant. I'll probably slip up and call it both today. You are going to need 8-ply 100% acrylic yarn in 2 colours basically. You're going to need a black or a grey, and you're going to need a yellow. Though I will say, and I'll pop some pictures on the screen here, that I've seen some art installation type works where they've been fed multicoloured sugar water, and it's quite spectacular. You're also going to need a pair of 9mm safety eyes, and this is the last pair you're going to need for this event because tomorrow's bug doesn't require safety eyes. In terms of tools, you will need a 3.5mm hook and a pair of scissors. And while not strictly necessary, while not necessary for this pattern, I do encourage you to have a needle and a scrap amount of white available so that you can add some details to the eyes. So this little anty darling, we start in the middle of the face. We build up the head and then the body of the ant, and then we work up the giant honey bulb, including some built-in stripes. Fun fact, this was the last one of all 12 that I designed. Anyway, we are going to start in our black. I'm going to be using grey because I think it shows up a little easier for you to see on camera so you can see more clearly what I'm doing. And we're going to start with a magic ring. Now straight away we're building antennas into this round, so we've got to be just a little bit slower. So into the magic ring we are going to put 2 single crochet, 1 and 2. Then we're going to build our first antenna, and we do that by chaining 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. We're going to turn, and starting in the second chain from our hook, work 4 slip stitches back down that chain. 1, 2, 3 and 4. We're going to work another single crochet into our magic ring, and we're going to build a second antenna the same way we built the first one. So chain 5, turn and work 4 slip stitches back down that chain. We're then going to work 3 more single crochet into our magic ring. 1, 2 and 3. So that means we've worked 6 stitches into the magic ring as well as 2 antennae. And we're going to close our magic ring off at this point. Kind of looks like the letter V or the peace sign. In row 2, we are going to work 3 repeats of a single crochet and then 3 single crochet into the same stitch. 1, 2, and 3. So there's our first one, and we're going to do that 2 more times. So the next stitch falls between the antenna, so I'm going to fold it forward and work the single crochet around behind it, and fold the second one forward and work the 3 single crochet into the same stitch on the far side of it, like so. 1, 2, 3. By folding them forward, we ensure that our antennae are going to be on the outside of the work because antennae are better off outies than innies. So there's 2 repeats and we have 1 more to go. Single crochet and 3 single crochet all into the same stitch. 1, 2, 3. So there we are at the end of row 2, and you should have 12 stitches in your round. Row 3 starts with 10 single crochet around. 1, 2, 3, 9, and 10. This leaves us with 2 stitches in our round, and into each one of those we are going to work a treble crochet, also known as a triple crochet, but I've always called them trebles because of the trouble with trebles. And how you work a treble crochet is you yarn over your hook twice, insert into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, and you should have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2, yarn over and pull through the next 2, and yarn over and pull through the last 2. So there is our first little treble crochet, and we're going to do the same thing in the next stitch around. Like so. Now they look a little wibbly wobbly at the moment, but as soon as we start the next row, they'll become anchored more firmly and they'll look a little bit more like the mandibles they're meant to be. Row 4 starts with a decrease, and you can feel free to work invisible decreases or standard decreases, whatever boats your float. We're then going to work 5 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then a decrease. And a single crochet 3 together. And that is basically a decrease over 3 stitches. And there are 2 ways you can work them. You can work them the standard way by inserting your hook into a stitch, yarning over and pulling up a loop, inserting your hook through the next stitch, yarning over and pulling up a loop, and inserting your hook into a 3rd stitch, yarning over and pulling up a loop, leaving you with 4 loops on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through all 4. Perfectly acceptable way to do a decrease, even a single crochet 3 together. I prefer to use the invisible method myself when it works, and that is just picking up the front loops of the 3 stitches I'm decreasing over. I yarn over and I pull up a loop through all 3 of those, leaving me with just 2 loops on my hook, and then I yarn over and I complete the stitch. Whichever you prefer is fine. And that brings us to the end of row 4, and you should have just 8 stitches in your row. And at this point we are going to stop and insert our eyes, because as you can probably tell from our finished ant, things get tiny from here and there will not be room in a minute. So I'm going to be inserting my eyes into row 2 on either side of the head. This is just a suggested, like a serving suggestion, as I say sometimes. Please feel free to insert your eyes wherever feels right to you, wherever looks right to you. Different tensions, different yarns are going to make your eyes look a little bit different. And my goodness, different safety eyes, I know for a fact they're not very standard when it comes to their sizing. Just take a minute and work out where the eyes are going to look best on your particular ant. I think that best captures mine, and I'm going to snap the backs on. There we go, looking very cute. So row 5 starts with a decrease, and make sure that you're not accidentally reusing a stitch you've already decreased into. Particularly single crochet 3s together can make it look a little bit confusing. So the first stitch of that decrease will be on the other side of those mandibles. We're then going to work 4 single crochet across the top of the head. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then a decrease back to the start of our round. Okay, and at this point we are going to stop and stuff, and this is basically the only chance you'll have to add any stuffing to this head. It's up to you if you want to, but I do encourage a little bit. So you've got to remember what the dormouse said and feed your head. Just look at him, he's such a cutie pie already. Anyway, now on to everybody's favourite row, the row of front post single crochet. It's almost obligatory. It's obligatory how you say that? I'm obligated to include one at this point. So front post single crochet, ready? You can sing along with me if you like. When we crochet, we normally work through the loops at the top of the stitch, but each stitch also has a little stem or post that we can work around, and when we post stitch, we work around the post. And as we are working front post single crochet, we are inserting our hook from the front of the work, around the post, back to the front of the work. We then yarn over and pull up a loop around the post, and yarn over, pull through both loops to complete our single crochet. So there is our first one, and we're going to do 5 more of those for 6 front post single crochet around. At this point, that whole spiel sounds like gibberish to me, so do please let me know if I'm skipping any important piece of information from it, and I'll try and fill in the gaps in the comment section. I've said it, I think that's my 11th time through it. So there we go. Make sure that you can identify your 6 stitches because you are going to need all of them. The next stitch I work into is like this tiny little piece right here. But first, we have to make our first leg. Now, our legs are pretty dang close to the antenna we've already made, but I actually think they're smaller, which is kind of funny to me. But anyway, we're going to start by chaining 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to turn, starting in the second chain from our hook, work 3 slip stitches back down those chains. 1, 2, and 3. Then back working in the stitches of our round, we're going to work an increase. And another little leg, chain 4, turn and work 3 slip stitches back down those chains. Hello. Once again, working into the stitches of our round and being careful not to skip any. We're going to work an increase, 2 single crochet, 1 and 2, and then 2 increases. There's 1, and then 2. And that should bring us right up against our first little leg. And those legs should be relatively centered with that. Oh, excuse me, sir. Those legs should be relatively centered with that head. So you see if I let's flatten them upwards, the mandibles are maybe slightly to one side of them, but they should read pretty straight on. You are so cute. Why are you so much cuter than the other one that I made? This isn't fair. Doing my best to stay focused here. We're moving on to row 8. And in row 8, we start with 2 increases, and both of those are going to fall between these legs. So there is 1. And 2. Fold that leg forward out of the way. We're then going to work 2 single crochet. 1 and 2. Then 2 decreases. 1 and 2. What can I say? The ants go marching 2 by 2. And then 2 single crochet back to the start of the row. 1 and 2. Row 9 starts with our second set of legs. So the second verse, same as the first. We're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 3 slip stitches down the chains. 1, 2, 3. Then into the body, we are going to work a single crochet. And then a single crochet 3 together. And a 4th little leg, chain 4, and 3 slip stitches down the chains. Now he can kick as well. Okay, back into the stitches of our round, being careful not to skip any. We're going to work 3 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, which should bring us roughly to the stitch that's kind of at the top center of the back, and we're going to work 3 single crochet all into the same stitch. 1, 2, and 3. And then it's just 2 single crochet back to the start of our round. 1 and 2. And you should stop and count at this point and make sure you have 10 stitches in your round. Sitting on a bench, waving at some ducks. In row 10, we are going to build the final legs. And then maybe I'll stop fawning over it. And we're going to, the legs are exactly the same as the other legs we've done. We're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 3 slip stitches back down the chains. 1, 2, 3. We're then going to work a decrease, and that decrease is going to fall in the 2 stitches between the legs. So here we go. And then we're going to make another little leg, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Turn and work 3 slip stitches down the chains. 1, 2, and 3. So that was our last little leg, and we're going to decrease and then work 6 single crochet back to the start of our round, and we're going to change to our yellow in the 6th stitch. 3, 4, So that's 5. And we haven't done any color changes in a couple of them now. So let's go through how to do a color change. Let's get my yellow ready to go. So to work a color change, you insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, leaving you with 2 loops of your old color on your hook. Then hold your old color out of the way, grab a strand of the color you're changing to, and pinch it at the base of the stitch on the inside of your work. Yarn over with your new color, pull through both loops, and just tug on your tails to scooch that stitch down into place, leaving you with a single crochet in your gray and your yellow on your hook ready to go. Which brings us to the end of row 10, and at this point we are going to stop and stuff the little antibody. And you can take, okay, look, you could technically trim off your grey at this point and just reattach it later when we need to make the stripes. I'm probably just going to pull mine across from inside. It's up to you. Okay, working in our yellow. We're going to work this entire row in the back loops only, which is I think the first time we've done that for this particular bug. So ready for that speech again. When we look at single crochet, you can see that there are 2 loops that we normally work through. We have one on the side facing us and one on the side facing away. So when we work in the back loops only, that means we work our stitches through just the loop on the inside of the work, leaving the loop on the outside of the work free. And we do that for a number of reasons, whether they be structural or decorative, or, you know, sometimes they serve more purposes. These ones here today are decorative. So if they prove too much of a hassle, just ignore the back loop only instruction and work them as regular single crochet. Okay, so working in the back loop only, we are going to start with 3 increases. And first I'm just going to work out where that first stitch is supposed to fall. So from the previous row, we should have 8 stitches, and I'm going to count backwards from my hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. Okay, so my first stitch is between those legs, and it's an increase. Okay, there's our first increase, and we're going to do 2 more of those. 1 and 2. 3 and 4. So there's our 3 increases. We're then going to work a single crochet still in the back loop. We're going to work 2 repeats of 3 single crochet into the same stitch. 1, 2, 3. That's our first one. We're going to do that again. 1, 2, 3. And then it's just a single crochet and an increase. And that brings us to the end of our back loop only row. Row 12, we're going back to working through both loops. And we're going to work 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then 2 repeats of an increase. And a single crochet. So there's our first one. We're going to do that again. So increase and a single crochet. We're then going to work 3 single crochet all into the same stitch. 1, 2, 3, 2 single crochet, 1 and 2, and then 3 single crochet all into the same stitch. 1, 2, 3. Then it's 2 repeats of a single crochet and an increase. So there's our first one, and we're going to do that again to get back to the start of our row. Single crochet and increase. So we are now at the end of row 12, and you should have 24 stitches in your round, which is the widest this row gets. And I actually think it's the widest any of them got. So row 13 is just 24 single crochet around. 23 and 24. Throwing around a needle at the moment, which is making me kind of nervous. So I'm just going to leave you to supervise that, okay, Missy? You're very good at this. Okay, so in row 14 and 15, we're going to build the first stripe. We're going to start by working 12 single crochet in our yellow, changing to our black in the 12th stitch. I'm still using grey for that. I'm just using black as shorthand. So 2, 3, 4, 10, 11, and changing to our black in the 12th stitch. There we go. So we should be slightly off to one side on the body here. And we're going to work 5 front post single crochet across the top of the back, changing to our yellow in the 5th one. So we'll start just by working 4. Remember that the way you can tell which post to use first is you find the loops you are going to work into and you follow them down to their post, because otherwise you'll get tricked by this one like half the time. So 1, 2, 3. So there's our first 4, and then we'll work the color change in the 5th one. And the color change is exactly the same, it's just around the post instead of through the loops. And then it's 7 yellow single crochet back to the start of our round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Stop and count to make sure you still have 24 stitches, because front post stitches in the middle of a round of single crochet are a surefire way to lose a stitch. Just saying, just stop and check. In row 15, we're going to work 11 single crochet in our yellow, changing to our black in the 11th stitch. 1, 2, 3, 9, 10. So this is our 11th stitch, and we'll change back to our black. I'm just pulling it across. It's the lazy person's color changes, but if it works, why change how you do things? And we should have 1 yellow stitch left between where we currently are and the start of our black stripe. And we're going to work a front post single crochet around that yellow stitch. Then 5 single crochet across our existing stripe. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then another front post single crochet, changing back to our yellow. And that is our first stripe complete, and we have just 6 yellow single crochet back to the start of our round. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Stop and count and make sure you still have 24 stitches. Row 16 is now worked entirely in our yellow, and we're going to start with 11 single crochet to get back to the stripe. So that's 11. Then we're going to work 7 front post single crochet across the black stitches. So they're nice and easy to identify. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. The reason I've chosen to do front post single crochet for these stripes is I think it gives it a nice 3-dimensional quality. Other spots and stripes throughout this series are kind of more of a flat thing where like the same shell is colored the same way, whereas for these ants, they actually have like a giant stomach filled with honey, and then they've got like these very plasticky black stripes stretched over the top. And I think that this better captured that. Given that I couldn't capture the translucency of the honey, I wanted to try and capture at least some of the 3 dimensions of what's going on here. And so just as a little explanation, if that front post nature of this work is driving you a little bit batty, please feel free to swap the front post for back loop stitching. And again, you could also feel free just to work it as regular single crochet, and it will take the difficulty down quite substantially. Okay, and then we are going to work 6 single crochet back to the start of our row. There is our first stripe complete and locked in. And row 17 is once again 24 single crochet around. Then in rows 18 and 19, we are going to be building our second little black stripe. So we're going to start with 6 single crochet in our yellow. And then a decrease. Then 3 single crochet, changing to our black. 1, 2, and we'll change to our black. So the foundation for this stripe starts with 3 front post single crochet. 1, 2, 3. And then something I've been calling a front post decrease, which I assume is a real stitch, but you would have done it if you did the weevil on whatever day the weevil was. Day 8. So how we work a front post decrease is you insert your hook around the post of the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. And then you insert your hook around the post of the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. So you've got loops pulled up around the next 2 posts. We yarn over and pull through all 3 loops, working a decrease with the posts instead of the loops. Yeah. We're then going to work 3 front post single crochet, changing back to our yellow in the 3rd one. That's 2, and this is number 3. And it's 3 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, and a decrease back to the start of the row. I'm getting a little tangled up here, but I think I'll be able to, never mind, it's not a problem anymore. Row 19 starts with 3 single crochet, 1, 2, and 3, and then a decrease, and then 5 single crochet, changing to our black in the 5th stitch. 2, 3, 4, and this is number 5. In our black, we're going to work a decrease, just a regular one, regular decrease, then 3 single crochet, and a decrease, changing back to our yellow. And it's just 4 yellow single crochet back to the start of the row. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's the end of the grey / black for this project, and you can trim that off. I think that's a wrap for the event for the black and grey. Is that too much of a hint? No, I've already told you the colours. No, I'll tell you the colours at the end. It's fine. I feel like if you've made it this far, then it's fine. So row 20 is 3 repeats of a single crochet and a decrease. So there's our first one, and we're going to do that 2 more times. Single crochet, decrease, single crochet, and decrease. We're then going to be working across the black stitches, and we do that with a front post single crochet, and then 2 front post decreases. So there's 1 and 2. Then back to working through the loops. We're going to work a single crochet, a decrease, and a single crochet, leaving us with just 12 stitches in our round. And at this point we are going to stop and stuff, and this is sort of last call for stuffing. Nice and full. We're going to work our final row now, which is just 6 decreases around. And finish off. So this leaves us with just a little opening at the back, and we are going to take our remaining strand of yarn and pull it through the front loops only of all the stitches in that round. And pull to close. And tuck that end away inside and give it a good squish to like redistribute the stuffing. And there is our little honeypot ant. Now, as mentioned, this is completely optional, but I am just going to use a needle and some white yarn to add some whites to my eyes. I'm going to do it standing, so if I'm closer to the microphone, that's why. I've been sitting here all day. It's amazing how many of these little dudes you can film in a single day after you've made them 50 times each. I'm fine. I'm having a great time. I'm really looking forward to this event. I'm somebody who needs instant gratification, and when I do an event like this, I have to do so much work ahead of time, and then I get no gratification because I have to keep it all like behind spoiler tags and I can't show anybody it. So I'm really looking forward to you guys seeing some of these. By now you've seen all of them. If I include this in a video, you've seen all of them except for one, which I have carefully managed to hide from all possible spoilers. Go team. And there he is. I just think he's so cute. I don't know why he's having this effect on me for some reason. I'm like, he's fine, but this is precious little honey bean. And just look at that face. So there is our finished honeypot ant. I hope you had fun making them with me today. Okay, here it is. The last clue for the series. The clue as to what is in box number 12. So the clue for box number 12 is that this bug thinks that they're Spider-Man. And I'm going to add an additional clue here and tell you that this looks absolutely nothing remotely like a spider because I promised. Have I not kept my promise of no spiders this season? And the colours I will be using for mine are like a rosy berry red pink, the same colour I used for the ladybug, and a pale pink, though that isn't really a clue as to the actual colours of this thing. So if you think you know the answer, leave your guesses in the comment section down below. Feel free to discuss amongst yourselves and see if you can come up with the right answer. But yeah, other than that, I will see you tomorrow for the final day of crochet. Okay, bye!